Welcome to Chapter 6. I know I've kept you waiting. This chapter, by the way, was released in an Australian magazine some time ago. It's called Steve at the Hospital. Anne lashed out at her daughter for trying to leave the house. The force of that lash gave poor Michelle a concussion. It was followed by Anne, who, after having drunk a glass of whiskey, fell and hit herself hard on their wooden floor. It was 9 o'clock in the morning. The accounting class was about to begin, and Steve scanned the room for Michelle. Then Dave came up to Steve to discuss a particular assignment. Yes, you've got that part right, but Dave, you need to include this here, here, and here, Steve said as he reviewed Dave's work. Thanks, sir, Dave responded as he was about to head for his seat in the lecture hall. One more thing, Dave. Do you know where Michelle is? She's usually extra early for my classes. No, I don't, sir. The last time we met, she actually stormed off in the direction of the campus car park. That was yesterday evening. Since then, I've not seen her. Why? Is anything the matter? I'm worried about her, Steve told him. Perhaps she overslept or something. Well, Dave, you may return to your seat. Steve took a minute to compose himself, then turned to his students. Okay, class, now that we're settled, let's begin. Meanwhile, back at Michelle's house, Anne's AA, Alcoholics Anonymous sponsor Sarah Goodman, was about to do her usual round of morning coffee with her sponsee. As Sarah reached Anne's front door, she realized that it was not exactly locked. She felt it wasn't right to barge into another person's home without at first ringing the doorbell. She rang it repeatedly, but finally decided to open the unlocked door. Annie, dear, it's Sarah. I'm coming in. Where are you, Annie? As soon as Sarah turned her head to the left, she saw her friend and Michelle lying on the floor in a heap. She checked their pulses, then she called an ambulance. Yes, this is Mrs. Goodman speaking on behalf of Mrs. Carson. Anne Carson and Michelle are lying on the floor, motionless. Can you send an ambulance over immediately? Sarah asked in an urgent tone. Sarah knew some first aid and tried her best to look after the two of them until the ambulance arrived from the local hospital. It just so happened that Sarah was also Steve's mother's younger sister. Sarah had an alcohol problem and recovered enough to sponsor Anne, in spite of the fact that Anne was in recovery longer. But Anne never really wanted to stick to sobriety for very long. She always needed that extra drink. That additional drink whenever she was angry, sad, or aloof. Back in his office, Steve picked up the ringing phone. Hi, Auntie Sarah. What's wrong? After listening intently for a few seconds, Steve responded to her. I'll be right over immediately. And he left to go to the hospital. As he reached the hospital, he passed a souvenir shop on the ground floor. There he bought flowers for both the Carsons. He wrote a small note on Michelle's bouquet, however, which went something like this. As the rivers meet the seas, so shall my love never cease. Endless it shall be as the tides rush ashore. So shall my tongue speak no more of petty chats and idle folklore, of wasting time when I have none, of thinking of the ways to impress when your life seems so suppressed, of love I could have given, at times it seemed a given. My life was in a rhythm of congenial affairs, of boring talks and no despairs. Enough, my heart belongs to you, and to you my love I pray repairs. If chance giveth me one hand in fate, let us live in hate. Let us live to debate, yet let us not live to regret. The missed opportunities life bestowed are missed opportunities no more. I love you, my dearest pet. Please let's live, let's not regret. Wake up, my dear. The dawn is near. A new day starts. Let yesterday disappear. As he read the poem, tears poured forth from his eyes. He was kneeling before her bed. Those who were present were happy and sad. Happy that Steve found his love, but sad to see her in a state of concussion. The family left Steve to look after Michelle while Sarah stayed with Anne. After some time of silence, Steve asked, Auntie Sarah. Yes, Steve, oh dear. They will get up, won't they? course they will. Just keep on talking. It is good to talk to a patient, even if they are not totally aware you are there. Your voice alone will help them recover. Steve stayed up with Sarah at a hospital and slept there through the night. The next day he left for work. Sarah phoned Steve to say that the two had got up. Steve's sigh of relief was soon replaced by a feeling of dread when he realized he left his phone right by Michelle's bed. Anxious thoughts ran wild through his head. What if Michelle doesn't feel that way? What if she still thinks I'm a loser? If only Steve realized how wrong he was. Michelle's love for him was deeper now than it had ever been. She realized that in the past her love was just a dream. Now for certain that dream had turned real. Reality for Michelle and Steve wouldn't be so grim. It's a nice story, isn't it? It brings tears to my eyes as well. And I hope it brings some sort of feeling to you as well. That is the reason why I wrote it. It's all about unrequited love. And for those who have unrequited love, know that possibly there is someone special for you like Michelle is for Steve out there. And if there isn't, then at least you know there is a God out there that loves you even more the same, if not better. God bless you, and thank you for listening.